It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Welcome to North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. With over a decade of experience in brand transition and customer success, the Chief Market Officer at Bushel has played a pivotal role in transforming the company from a digital consulting agency to a leading digital product platform in the agriculture industry. Under her leadership, Bushel's platform has rapidly expanded, now powering over 3,500 grain and ag retail facilities across the U.S. and Canada, and representing more than 50% of the grain origination in these countries. Her extensive background includes fundraising, development, and program management across various sectors, showcasing her versatility and commitment to driving growth and innovation. She's also going to be speaking at the Women in Agribusiness Summit this fall in Denver, with her topic being the messy middle of agriculture data. We're going to discuss this messy middle and how ag tech is evolving every day in our industry. I would like to welcome Camille Grade. Welcome, Camille, and thank you so much for being here. I've been really looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chrissy. Excited to be here.
So let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so I grew up on a row crop farm in northwest Minnesota. So I'm currently located in Fargo, North Dakota, and my family's farm is about 30 minutes to the north of us on the Minnesota side of the river. So agriculture's in my DNA, embedded in my DNA, but my early career was spent doing nonprofit fundraising and development, which is really the marketing arm of a nonprofit. And after a few years of working at a local art museum, public broadcasting station, I spent some time at our local Chamber of Commerce, and I got to work with businesses of a variety of sizes and industries. And it's how I met the co-founders of Bushel, Jake Dornstedt and Ryan Raguse. So I decided to join them as they were early on in their company's journey. This was before Bushel was even Bushel. We were still doing custom software development across a variety of different industries, but it was the early days of mobile first technology. So a lot of businesses were looking at, how do we have a mobile app? And a lot of businesses were coming up with business models around mobile applications. So we really cut our teeth building hundreds of platforms and applications for a variety of industries. We ended up doing a lot of work in agriculture. And I think a part of that was just geography. We are located in Fargo, North Dakota. Agriculture is a big part of our economy up here. And so as we were doing a lot of work with a lot of these agriculture organizations, we found a need in the market where we thought, perhaps we can build a product and a platform to bring to market to help serve both the farmer and the agribusiness. And that's really where Bushel was born. It was born out of this custom software work. And we said, I think we can provide an easy way for farmers to garner access to their scale ticket information, to their contract information, to the futures markets, to the bids from their local grain elevator or ag retailer. And I think that we can provide that at scale. And that's really kind of the origin story of Bushel.
Oh, that really fits that need, of course, in our industry, right? That's incredible. And what is your role, and how has your role evolved? Obviously, you went from, um, not even the product that you're selling now. So how did that all evolve with what you do?
Yeah, so Chief Market Officer at Bushel now. So I primarily oversee our marketing and communications efforts at Bushel. When I came in, I was a one-person marketing and comms team. So we were, 20, 25 people at the time. Again, this is before we had our own product in the market. And then over time, we have around 150, 160 team members at Bushel now. So have been able to kind of grow along with the company. Like you said, we serve over 3,500 grain and ag retail locations, serving 50% of the grain industry through our platform. So I've been able to grow along with the company, which has been a really rewarding experience throughout my career.
Yeah, that's really cool. And can you explain this concept of the messy middle of supply chain and why it's crucial for agribusiness?
Yeah. So when we were getting started, again, we were looking at the ag tech landscape and we saw a whole bunch of software applications or platforms serving directly the farmer. So at that farm gate of the supply chain. And then we saw a lot of applications and platforms focused on the consumer. So kind of at the end of the ag supply chain. Where we saw an underserved opportunity was what we called this messy middle point in the supply chain. And why we called it the messy middle is because there were and there are still a lot of disparate systems across the egg supply chain that are flowing data and information. Some of them are disparate because they're on-prem servers. Some of them are disparate because they're not connected to any other system to allow that data to flow and allow to be permissioned to other pieces. So we thought, how can we step in and help unlock some of the value of the data that serves both farmer and agribusiness? And how do we do that in a secure way? And how do we do it in a way that the farmer and the agribusiness are comfortable with allowing the permissioning of those data pieces to help each other, to help their own businesses, and to ultimately, drive more revenue for them, increase efficiencies, or decrease some of their expenses. So we just really saw that messy middle as it was just so locked up in siloed systems and the inability for the folks who needed it most, the farmer and the agribusiness, to access it and add value to their business.
Yeah, great points. And you see that too in precision ag and ag tech, where there's these silos of information and there's no way to share it. But then there's also the concern of privacy through all of it. So how do
Right.
you address the privacy issues?
Right. So we have long believed from the get-go, our mission was to strengthen the relationship between farmer and agribusiness. We had zero interest in, disrupting or being a disintermediator. We wanted to come in and help strengthen the relationship to those things. So the privacy of it, everything is permission controlled. So the farmer is not sharing information with anyone else unless they are hitting that permission button. The agribusiness is not sharing information with anyone else unless they're hitting a permission button. So putting those permissioning controls in there. And then Bushel also has undergone rigorous SOC 2 Type 2 compliance activities. So we went through and got all of our systems in compliance with this SOC 2 Type 2 standard. And now we have annual audits to ensure that we're abiding by that. So making sure we have the systems, the processes, the people, the controls in order to protect that privacy and protect that permissioning control across the products that we have in market.
Well, that's good. And then how does it work? Like how, if a producer wants to get involved or agribusiness, how do they get involved?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that our products and our workflow solutions serve the farmer and the agribusiness. So the most common way and the first way that we brought our products into market was it was really through a customer portal. It was mobile first, and then we ended up adding some web capabilities. But agribusinesses, it's a subscription business model. They subscribe to getting a branded customer portal to distribute to their farmers. That means that farmer is logging in to their agribusiness's customer portal, and then they're seeing the contracts, the scale tickets, the invoices that they have with that particular agribusiness. That mobile application lives on the app stores. The farmers securely log in, they get access to their information. Think about back in the day before banking apps were a thing, mobile banking apps, and you either had to call and get your banking information, you got an auto attendant menu to figure out where you were going. That's really how farmers were getting access to their crucial account information. And we thought, let's make it accessible for them. Let's make it secure for them to access it. That way it strengthens, again, that relationship between agribusiness and farmer. From there, we added on additional capabilities. We added a bid, offer, and hedge management platform for our grain elevator customers to digitize that process. We added a payments management solution through our Bushel wallet offering as digital payments are continuing to grow in accessibility in the agriculture supply chain. We layered that on top of our platform. And again, really, agribusiness is subscribing to these products and services. Farmers are then using it. We also have some direct to farmer offerings as well. So we have our Bushel farm management platform, and farmers can self-serve. They can go to our Bushel Farm website. They can sign up and use Bushel Farm to track their P&L. They can use it for their marketing planning. They can use it for their crop planning. But there is a direct to farmer subscription through our Bushel Farm offering as well.
Oh, very cool. And you made me flash back and into the days where you had to call to pay all your bills through your bank, and how we all remembered our bank card numbers and everything because we had to put them in so many times. We've come a long way in like 20 years. It's really amazing. I'd forgotten about those days until you brought that up.
Right, right. Yeah. And that really is the existence today of some payment processes in agriculture. And our approach to it is it's nobody's fault, and it doesn't need to be anybody's fault. We're just saying there's an opportunity to improve this payment process. We've built a secure platform to embed into your Bushel platform or into other platforms that you have in your business. And we can help facilitate those secure transactions. And we also built Bushel Wallet in our payments platform in a way that made sense for the agriculture industry, right? Credit cards aren't largely used because it doesn't make sense. A 2-3% fee on a credit card might be the entire margin of a particular input sale. And so we have fees that make sense for the agribusiness. And the feedback that we've gotten is that they make sense and they're happy with how that structure is. And then we built the secure platform so the agribusiness can serve the farmers through some of those payment capabilities. So just another way, right, to pay and get paid, whether that's farmer paying or agribusiness paying, or whether that's the farmer getting paid or it's the agribusiness getting paid.
Very cool. And what does the adoption of this technology look like for the company? I know sometimes it's slow at the beginning, but it seems like everyone's moving in the same direction.
Yeah. So we invested a lot of our early go-to-market efforts in driving that adoption of the technology, because that was something else that we had seen across the industry was, maybe low farmer engagement or low agribusiness engagement and adoption with some of these offerings. One of the first decisions that we made on the farmer side was, let's make it easy and efficient for the farmer to be logging in to their Bushel powered customer portal. So that customer portal that their grain elevator, ag retailer is providing to them. And so we did a phone number with a security code. And some of our customers in those early days, we had one of our first customers had what they told us 90% of their farmers logging in and accessing their customer portal within the first month or so. And so that told us that there was an appetite for this from the farmer, but a barrier had been, always having to remember username and password. So how could we, through understanding and having empathy for that farmer experience, how could we build a better way, still secure way for them to access their information from that agribusiness? And that was one of the things we did early on, like I said, to help drive that adoption. And those high adoption rates then prove value to the agribusiness who is supplying and providing this customer portal to those farmers. And so we're still seeing some of our customers in that 90 to 95% of farmers engaging with the platform. We also, as we've grown the capabilities to our agribusiness customers, we're seeing their team members find more and more ways to extract value from their Bushel products. So we have agribusinesses that have entire teams that are running their business through Bushel products, whether that's the customer portal. We're in the process of bringing a CRM, a customer relationship management offering into the market. Our bid offer and hedge management. That's been another way that we've been able to add value to the agribusiness and wrap our offerings across that agribusiness team. So we're seeing a lot of positive feedback and reception in the market, and we continue. I still remember in the early days of going to market, there was a little bit of like, well, I don't know if our team's going to use this, on the agribusiness side. I don't know if, Jim is going to take a hold of this. I don't know if Patty in accounting is going to take a hold of this software. And it was pretty shortly thereafter that we launched our first handful of customers. And then the feedback became, well, Bushel, what else could you be providing in terms of software to help us run our business? So it's been really fun to see the agriculture industry embrace technology that adds value to their agribusiness.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exciting to me, especially. I've been in marketing and sales most of my life, and I've helped multiple companies set up CRM systems. And you always get the salesperson angry that they have to do, they think that they're going to have all this work. But once there's especially a CRM system that's in place that makes sense, that actually takes workload off of the sales rep and allows them to have an environment where they can sell, the adoption just flows right through the company.
Yeah.
And yeah, it to me, I'm a bit of a geek, but it's very exciting. So
Yeah. And, again, in those early days, some of the feedback that we had from our agribusiness customers was, because one of our value props was, you might be fielding less phone calls because your farmers, they're able to go into your customer portal and see how much they have left to deliver on a contract. And some of the feedback was, well, I want those phone calls. I want those engagement points. And we're like, we got it. We totally understand that. But what we found as our early customers started to learn more about how their teams were using Bushel and how their farmers were using Bushel was the feedback from our agribusiness customers was, okay, now when our farmers are calling, it's not clerical questions.
right.
It's, hey, I've got this much left on my contract. Let's talk about, what I should be, doing with it. And so it became more strategic discussions when these farmers were calling in to talk to the agribusiness staff. And that's also just been a really exciting evolution to see both sides of that equation, the farmer and the agribusiness, embrace, really what Bushel is trying to do. And it is trying to strengthen that business relationship that's happening and that's fundamental and foundational between the farmer and the agribusiness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. And in your opinion, what are the most significant advances in agriculture tech in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look broadly, so Bushel is software. We are a software only company. We don't build hardware. We don't do anything around the hardware side. We are simply software. But I think if you take a broader view, some of the bigger transformations that have happened are, of course, some of those hardware systems. GPS is not new, but it's been one of the most revolutionary pieces of technology in the past 20, 30 years. I think on the genetic side within seed, that's also one of the big advancements that has happened. In the software side, I do think what we're seeing now is kind of a groundswell of how does software really become part of the farmer experience in their operations, right? Farmers are business owners. Most businesses are using some level of software to run their business. So what is that tech stack that the farmer is using? Same thing on the agribusiness side. What are those foundational tech stack pieces from a software perspective that the agribusinesses are using? And I think we're now getting to a point where there's a better understanding of ROI around some of these. I think farm management systems, right, have been around, 10, 15 years probably at this point. And there's a lot of maturation that's happened in them. And those farmers who are using something like a farm management system, like a Bushel farm, are dialing in to, field level inputs, field level yields to help them determine how they're going to plan for the next year and the next year. And so on the agribusiness side, the big trend that we're seeing is really around CRM, and it's around digital payments. CRM is maybe a little further along than the digital payment side, but agribusinesses are seeing a turnover in staff, right? And it's simply because they have team members retiring. They have long-time team members who are retiring, and they've retained all this information about their customers in their head. Where does that information go when you have these dedicated long-time team members leave? Hopefully it doesn't leave with them. So
and that's unfortunately what happens, right? Over and over and over again in every sales team and every business, and especially as the people that have been in business for 30 years are retiring. Now there's people stay in jobs for like 2 to 5 years now.
Right.
So you really need to have that structure set up so that you can put somebody in that spot and have all the tools right there. Gone are the days where everyone's just keeping it in their head, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what we are hearing more and more from our agribusiness customers, is how can they better manage and track their customer base through a centralized software platform. And that's really where Bushel has come in. It started with that customer portal that naturally evolved to a CRM. It naturally evolved to embedding digital payments. It naturally evolved to bid offer and hedge management. And so having that centralized software platform that can help them run their business when there are business changes that happen in staffing. So it's part of that business readiness. And it's been fun to see agribusinesses embrace it over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. And you were instrumental in shaping Bushel's brand through imagery and words. So how does a brand show authenticity in agriculture? My other podcast is What Color is Your Tractor, which is really a study of brands in agriculture. I should probably have you on there too. But what have you done through the years to really show that authenticity in words and images?
Yeah. So, when you boil down to it, a brand, your brand is really your reputation. And so what positive sentiment do you think of when you think of a particular brand? And so in the early days of going to market with Bushel, we're running fast, right? We have a product. We're thinking we've gotten product market fit, but we wanted to stand out. There's in the sea of all the ag tech offerings that were happening and continue to happen, we wanted to stand out. So part of that authenticity was we need, of course, our actual customers, our actual users in the actual places that they're using our products. And so it became a very, call it obvious decision to garner some of those customer stories early, get some of that videography, get some of the photos that we used in our marketing materials. And then I think there was like the feel and the imagery of the brand, but then at the heart of the brand was really that empathy towards both farmer and agribusiness. We, from day one, I said this earlier, we did not want to come in and say, we're here to like upset the apple cart. We're here to change everything that you're doing. Because some of what they're doing is working. A lot of what they're doing is working. So who are we to say anything different? But we did want to challenge a little bit. We did want to say, we think there might be a better way. We're seeing that there's a better way. How can we partner with you to help you see a better way to do business together and then to do your business independently too, again, with farmer and agribusiness. So it really becomes rooted in that empathy for the customer. And, I think the cliche adage is you've got two ears and one mouth. So like the ratio of how you're using them should equate to
I say that to my kids all the time.
And so I hope that's what we've been able to accomplish. And then that idea of brand being reputation, it gets embedded into your people. So how are your people showing up in front of the customers? How are your people showing up at industry events? Can you pull that thread of your brand through your people? And then your people show up in alignment with your brand when you take care of your people. And so it really stems, like if you go all the way through brand, your brand best manifests when you take really good care of your team. And I think that's something that Bushel has always strived to do, is how do we continue to take care of the team members at Bushel so that we can show up best for our customers who we are trying to serve through our integrated workflow solutions.
That is great. And what is the Bushel Buddy Seat Conference, and why did you choose the name Buddy Seat?
Yeah, so our Bushel Buddy Seat Conference is our annual customer conference. We just held it in Fargo, North Dakota, which is where we're headquartered. We just held it in the middle of June, and it was our third year holding it. It's Buddy Seat because if we're familiar with tractor cabs and the little seat that is next to the driver's seat and some of the newer tractor cabs, that's called the buddy seat. You have a buddy riding with you in the tractor. My dad has called it the banker seat or something like that.
The dog sits in it.
the dog seat. Yep, exactly. Yeah. When I was riding in tractor cabs, we didn't have buddy seats quite yet. So mine was like in the back window of the Massey Ferguson combine.
Right.
Backed up to there.
On a small cooler or something, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So we called it the buddy seat because what we're trying to do at Bushel is buddy up with our customers, right? When you are in the buddy seat in the tractor or the combine, that's when you're connecting with the person who's sitting next to you. You're having fun, or you're having a deep conversation, or maybe you're not saying anything at all, but you're connecting. And so we thought, what a great way to, kind of show how we are trying to work with our customers by saying, hop in the buddy seat with us at the Buddy Seat Conference, and we can learn together. We can grow together. We can challenge each other together. But through it all, we're right next to each other. Sometimes Bushel's in the driver's seat and the customer's in the buddy seat. A lot of times the customer's in the driver's seat and Bushel is sitting in the buddy seat. So just a way to, really continue to surface that we're in it together with our customers and partners.
Right. And that's just such beautiful honest imagery. I just love that so much. That just, it brings, nostalgic feelings, and really people understand exactly what you're talking about when you say that. So I think that's great. I'm going to have to go next year for sure.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
So, what would be your advice to young professionals looking to enter agriculture, in ag tech and in marketing communications?
The first thing I would say is, um, you don't have to come from agriculture to work in agriculture. I love that, part of Bushel's brand is that we have those of us on the team, myself included, our co-founder Ryan. Um, we are farm kids. We were farm kids. We are farm kids. And we had that in our DNA. I think that's really valuable. It is just as valuable to have folks from outside of agriculture work in agriculture, because sometimes it can become a little bit of an echo chamber, right? You have people who love agriculture that come from agriculture, go work in agriculture, and you're kind of having the same conversations. The folks outside that come in add value because they have to learn along the way. And we've had team members outside of agriculture join us, and they're diving in and understanding the nuances of it, and they're asking us questions, and their questions are so good. It causes me to pause at times and go, yeah, why did we do it that way? Why do we do it that way? So that value of, if you didn't come from agriculture, don't be hesitant to join it. And if you do come from agriculture, don't be hesitant to continue that journey. There's so many more ways for people to stay involved. I said at the beginning of our time together, I grew up on a farm. I don't actively farm. That was never going to be my dream. That's my brother's dream, and he is now farming with my dad. But the fact that I still get to play in agriculture and contribute to it in my own way is so rewarding. And it's brought me closer to my dad and brother too, right? Because they're always asking me what we're working on over at Bushel. I have gained more context, and I've gained more empathy for them, quite frankly, too. So don't be hesitant, whether you're inside or outside of agriculture, to get involved.
Yeah, that's great, and I understand that completely. Yeah, great advice. And I have one last question for you. Why do you serve the industry, and what are you most passionate about in what you do every day?
Yeah. Um, my why really comes back to, whenever I'm asked this question, I think about my grandpa Leo. So my grandpa Leo started our farm in 1947. So he came back from World War II. He spent 5 years overseas in Africa and the European fronts. He came back, started the farm, saved a whole bunch of money during the war, put it in the ground, planted a potato crop. And he said, if this crop goes well, I get to continue farming. If not, I'll have to figure out something else. He also partnered with a neighbor to do this. And thankfully, that partnership worked out, and it was a successful crop. And so my why is continuing to honor my grandpa's legacy of working in agriculture, and then understanding the value of partnerships and what good partnerships can provide. My grandpa always had the saying of, if you want good things to happen, surround yourself with good people. And I have just found that the people who work in agriculture are just some of the highest caliber of people. And the fact that I get to surround myself with that day in and day out, I just feel so fortunate to be able to do that. And so my why is honoring my grandpa. It's my way of staying connected into agriculture. And then hopefully being able to add value to the customers that we're serving by sitting alongside them in their buddy seat.
Amazing. And so where can people find more information?
Yeah, so if you want to find out more about Bushel, we're at bushelpowered.com. That's our main website. So you can read more about us there, look at the different solutions that we have in market to serve both agribusiness and farmer.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Camille, for joining me today. We're definitely going to have to do this again.
Yes, thank you so much, Chrissy. Appreciate the time.
And thanks to all who are watching or listening. If you want to learn more, the links are provided in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to North American Ag Spotlight on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Listen Notes. Or if you prefer video, you can find us on Rumble or Telegram, or really wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like this episode, I would love it if you shared it. Have a great day.